recorded live at 4ZZZ Studios Brisbane on 102.1 FM.
And broadcast across Australia on the Community Radio Network.
You're listening to Zed Games.
With 10 years experience and over 500 episodes,
Zed Games brings you the best in gaming news, reviews, community and culture.
Want to reach out? Message us on Facebook at ZedGamesAU.
This is Zed Games. I'm your host, Paul. Joining me tonight are Carolyn.
Hello.
And Peter.
Heyo!
And we've got a real treat for you tonight. What we are going to do is we are going to talk about videoed games. A special kind of game that appears on a screen typically, but it can be on other things. It's a new thing.
It is a new thing.
Well, I mean,
Can you have a video game without a screen?
Well, I guess it's not a video game then. It's an electronic game of some sort. But video does refer to vision.
Yes.
Because there's lots of things that fall under sort of video game that, like Johann Sebastian Joust. I started saying Johann. Ugh. I'm a terrible person. There's a laptop involved and there is a screen there, but that's a physical game you play, so I don't know. I've been foisted on my own petard, it seems.
Ha ha ha.
But before we get into some of this grand video game chat, we are going to listen to some news this evening provided to us by the one and the only, well, specifically this only one. There are other people with this name. Zara. Woo!
There can be only one though.
This week in gaming news. World of Warcraft player maxed out without playing. World of Warcraft players, and those who tried to become a WoW player, are probably familiar with the tutorial boat that takes players to the starter zone. And yet, despite there being absolutely no quests, enemies, or even resources to harvest on the boat, a player has managed to level up their characters to the recently increased level 70. How? Pets. Chicho has a number of account-wide pet battle quests, meaning that they can be done on separate characters, while allowing Chicho to redeem the quest rewards on a completely different character, namely the one on the ship. Apparently, if you have a level 25 Prominus pet on your account, you can use an ability called Arcane Explosion that can wipe out the quest giver's pets quickly. This method took 200 days to achieve max level. Xbox is now aware of carbon. A new Xbox firmware update brings changes to power management, where an Xbox console defaults to energy saving mode, reducing console power consumption when the console is off. This change won't affect performance or how updates install, but you won't be able to remotely wake your console, and it boots up a little more slowly. It is optional and players can opt for instant on, although this uses up more energy. In addition, your Xbox can schedule games, app, and OS updates at specific times to help reduce carbon emissions by connecting to the internet and using the available regional carbon intensity data. You can also hide game art when choosing tiles for the homepage, letting you change game art to blocks of solid color. Helpful if you find yourself overwhelmed with visuals. Massive Transwitch Games Bundle. In response to Hogwarts Legacy and the rising interest in games centered around magic whilst being trans-friendly, itch.io has a bundle of 69 items made by indie queer artists. 24 of the games are digital, with a further 41 titles being physical tabletop games. Some notable mentions includes a witchy dating sim called Casting Hearts, and my personal favourite, a game about a skateboarding witch in Magic Trick. VR Chat sex worker denied entry to US. VR Chat is a form of chat room where attendees are present in virtual reality, allowing them to interact, talk, and play together in a virtual room despite being countries apart. It's not uncommon to enter a room with a dozen skeletons, 3 furries, and a lot of chaos. Everything ranging from concerts to birthdays to just about anything can exist. Humans being humans, sex, and consequently sex work, also has a place. The VR Chat sex worker, Hex, resides in the United Kingdom, however attempted to visit the United States to visit some friends. She was denied entry and explained how her work was done in a virtual game. However, according to Hex, the woman interviewing her didn't quite understand. Despite not technically meeting the legal definition for prostitution in US immigration laws, she was issued an official letter stating that she was denied entry due to prostitution. And now for some upcoming games. February 16th brings Theatre Rhythm Final Bar Line for the PS4 and Switch, and Wild West Dynasty for the PC. February 17th brings Gigantosaurus Dino Kart for the PC, PS5, Xbox Series X, PS4, Xbox One and Switch, The Settlers New Allies for the PC, Tales of Symphonia Remastered for the PS4, Xbox One and Switch, Wild Hearts for the PC, PS5 and Xbox One. February 18th brings The Dreams in the Witch House for the PC. February 21 brings Atomic Hearts for the PC, PS5, Xbox Series X, PS4, and Xbox One, Like a Dragon Ishin for the PS5 and PS4, and Ninja Jajamaru, The Great Yokai Battle plus Hell Deluxe Edition, The Lost RPGs, and the Legendary Collection for the PS4 and Switch. February 22nd brings Digimon World, next order the PC and Switch, and a ton of PSVR 2 releases such as After the Fall, Fantavision 2020X, Gran Turismo 7, Horizon Call of the Mountain, Job Simulator, Jurassic World Aftermath Collection, Kayak VR Mirage, Kizune Ale, Touch the Beat, The Last Clockwinder, The Light Brigade, Resident Evil Village, Song in the Smoke, Star Wars Tales from the Galaxy Edge Enhanced Edition, Synth Riders, The Tale of Onogoro, Tentacular, Tetris Effect, What the Bat, Zenith, The Last City, and Zombieland Headshot Fever re-uploaded, all for the PSVR 2. That's it this week in gaming news.
That was a lot of virtual reality titles.
That was a lot of virtual reality games for the PSVR 2, which we are all, of course, we've all pre-ordered because we are millionaires.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yep. Totally need a second one.
Peasants.
Yes.
Imagine not having a VR.
Imagine having to share your VR, not just have guest VR for them to touch in the second bathroom, the third bathroom. I realize second bathroom probably isn't like a rich person
It's
thing.
not a rich person thing. It's like the 12th bathroom at this point.
Do people poop in VR?
I'm sure they can.
Yeah, you can do
It's-
any.
that's
It's,
like
not, it's not like a
asking
common thing. There's no function for it.
That's like asking, do people poop in Star Trek? Yes, but they don't show it.
Yeah, and since it doesn't map a whole body, you couldn't even tell if someone you were communicating with was. They would just be sort of still and shaking slightly, because I assume that's what we all do.
Yep, totally. My whole body vibrates with the anticipation of the release.
Oh, I am still so torn on PSVR 2 because I really liked PSVR 1 and I am into the VR eco space. And I bought the PS5 basically in like I was definitely going to get it. And then when they revealed it and the price, I went, oh.
Yep.
Because it's it's good tech, but it doesn't support any it's PSVR 2, so it doesn't support any PSVR games. They didn't they point out, well, you know, it was different technology. When it's like, yeah, but you made both technologies.
Yep.
You could have made provision to support older things.
Yep.
It was your choice not to do that. Because I've got a big library and I wanted to, some things I was actually waiting for to do on the better screen. I'm like, oh. I remember when Moss 2 came out.
Ooh, that was a good one.
Almost bought it with not the intention of playing it, because I was like, I'll support the devs at launch because Moss was an amazing game, and then when PSVR 2 comes out, I'll play it on that. If I'd done that, Moss for PSVR 2 is a separate purchase.
Yep.
So I wouldn't have been able to play it on it anyway. Like, gosh.
That's one of the negative things about virtual reality gaming at the moment is the non-conduciveness between all the different types of headsets and things like that. When you buy one, you've bought that one and you've only got the titles that are available for that specific headset.
I mean, as soon as you're in PSVR, like if you are a Quest user, it's like that's an ecosystem which will continue. I'm not really worried about that disappearing, despite other things going on in Meta. But also, it is still a PC-based device, so if you want it to be, it is standalone too. So you can play all sort of PC VR on it. So you actually get lots of stores and everything if you wish.
PC is a lot more acceptable in that regard because it's got a much bigger development behind it, sort of thing. So a lot more time, a lot more effort, a lot more money going into it, at least in the development space of the headsets themselves. So,
Caroline,
I know nothing about VR.
tell me of your VR dreams.
I just want a VR kit.
why?
And I want to go in VR chat and just probably annoy people.
What would your avatar be in VR chat? What would your first choice be if you could have anything?
Jotaro Kujo from JoJo.
Is that a JoJo reference?
I can't watch JoJo.
I can't watch JoJo either. I don't like the art style.
Something bad happens to a dog in the first episode, and
yeah.
I was greatly upset. I can't handle that.
There are many dogs who die, and
What?
also some cats. I can't watch the cats die.
So you're fine with the dogs, hey?
Yeah, less bad. The dogs are less bad.
Here we are, Carolyn Dog Murderer.
That's right. There's a reason that doesthedogdie.com exists.
Yeah.
Except it only references movies, not games yet. But, maybe there'll be a sub-page.
I know we've got Can You Pet the Dog for games, but I don't...
Yeah.
True.
It could dual wield.
Yep.
Okay.
What? Shoot a dog in one hand and pet a dog in the other?
I mean, if you want to go to that extreme, sure.
If you're so inclined. Okay, so now it's that time again. That time where I get to randomly vamp over the review intro. Let's hear a review about the game. It's a music game. You do beats and stuff, but it just doesn't look like one because it's very different to see. All good.
It's a review.
This is a review for the game Hi-Fi Rush, which, if you pay close attention to the industry, you may know of. Otherwise, you may not, because it was shadow dropped by Microsoft a little over 2 weeks ago when they were having a Bethesda and Xbox little showcase showing off a few games. They said, here you go. Here's TangoWorks' new game. TangoWorks, of course, known for The Evil Within and last year's Ghostwire Tokyo. Now, I wasn't a big fan of Ghostwire Tokyo. I loved the setting and the concept, but it just kind of wasn't fun.
Yeah.
This game is very fun. So, Hi-Fi Rush. In it, you play Chai, who is kind of a dropout. He regards himself as a future rock star, despite the fact he has no musical ability. But he has gone to an island of a mad scientist to volunteer for a cybernetics program because he's missing an arm. You'll never guess it, but something nefarious is happening up at this scientist's cybernetic lab on an island, and these people are being turned more into slave robots than they are just being helped. But in his process, his MP3 player that just looks like an iPod falls into the machine, and it gets embedded into his chest, Iron Man style.
Uh-oh.
And now the music lives within him. And for some reason, his arm can magnetize all the metal around it and turn into a great big guitar, which is good for hitting things. Awesome. So that's our setting basis. The game is incredibly colorful. As a general color reference, you're looking at like a Sunset Overdrive sort of
I was going to say,
shape.
I'm getting that vibes
But
from it.
as far as like the actual art goes, it is, as far as cel shaded, we want this to look like a cartoon. It is probably the most successful for a full 3D game I've ever seen that, with like Arcsoft with the Guilty Gear games. Like, that's top tier. Like, no one beats them. But they're not third person brawlers. Well, this is. It's an incredible art style, and they bring into the animation a whole lot of things that are like, you know, like animating on the twos and stuff like that. Like, they've come at it from a real, let's make this look like a cartoon style. And it's really, really impressive. And as for running, this is a game made by Bethesda for Microsoft. It's obviously on Xbox Series X and S. It's on PC as well, which means Game Pass. But in my case, and I'm sorry I'm going to harp on about this a lot this year because it will become my platform of choice, it's also on Steam, which means you can easily try to play it on Steam Deck, which is how I played this completely new, let's call it AA, because it's not full priced, and it's not even that short for a fighter. It's like a pretty normal length for a fighter.
Okay. How long?
Depending on what you're doing, there's a lot of reason to replay. Sort of like your 12-hour-ish mark.
Okay, that's a good, decent length for a...
Yeah. So, the game itself, as we say, it is, Devil May Cry. We're looking at a character-based brawler. But, as is mentioned, it's a music game. So, everything in the game operates to the beat. That means that the world will actually pulsate. Lots of things in the environment will have lights, or they will physically move. Your character does like Sonic the Hedgehog style, when you leave the character and he starts tapping his foot. Well, your character is always just snapping his fingers with the time. You get a little offsider that's also blinking, and if, for instance, you don't have enough visual feedback of the beat so far, you can push a button and put a metronome on screen. Because I decided to test it as a accessibility option, and I played this music game without sound, and I was fine.
Okay.
That said, if you can hear fine, you definitely want to play it with music, because it is rad. So all your actions happen on the beat, all your enemies' attacks happen on the beat, which means for someone like me that isn't great at character action, but I used to be a drummer and stuff, I got decent rhythm at least, it's like when everything's going to happen. Everything is telegraphed with both visual and audio prompts. Most things will happen on the beat. The things that happen off the beat is the game becomes more complex, and there's like special parries that you might have to do, but they will be shown to you beforehand, like one bar beforehand, and then it's your job to copy, like Simon Says. Where you get once you get into more cinematic areas, and they might have their equivalent of a QuickTime event, but those events are more like Oeden or Elite Beat Agent, where we've got symbols on screen that we're doing in music. It's a very traditional music game at that point, and it all feels really good. And probably the worst thing with the game when it started, literally everything's just happening on the beat, like hit, heavy attack. Heavy attack takes 2 beats, by the way. But I'm just very straight. And I thought, is this going to get monotonous for a whole game?
Yep.
No, there's so many things that mix up syncopation, different tempos, just lots of reason to do different combinations, and all of your actions are also melodic. So, which leads us to maybe my favorite thing about the whole thing. So, the game is obviously fully scored, but it's got licensed music for all the big events.
Oh, nice.
These licenses are things like 9 Inch Nails, or Black Keys that do Lonely Boy. Starts with Lonely Boy. And Flaming Lips, and people like that. People that are very much in sort of my alt-rock genre-y side as a now middle-aged man. But that's not my favorite thing. Oh, actually, I'll go. So this is normally in boss fights.
Yep.
And the boss fights, they've broken up all the songs. They've taken like different stems of them as well. Because not only does, a boss fight will have its animation sets, like these are its attacks, and when it does that, it'll do this. Except all that is tied to the music as well.
Oh.
So like as you get into, say, the combat, into the chorus, you'll know, he's going to fire these rockets and do that. And they've also been very clever in making it then do, it'll actually have stuff to do with the lyrics.
Yep.
So it all ties together, and it becomes you playing in this fight, in this music that goes on, and it flows smoothly because they've cut it all up nicely. But streamers cannot play it because those songs are very famous and you cannot do it. So what did they do? They made legally distinct copies of these famous songs.
Nice.
So, they had in-house bands that they'd have to have a song that is the same tempo, same key, following the same chord progression with the same feel.
Yep.
And similar lyrical content because it does relate to the gameplay.
Okay.
But still be legally distinct so streamers could play it. But for me, I just thought that was just hilarious. Like, that's great. And they're fine because they're pretty much the songs, and you just listen to it going like, I think I know this song.
I think I know this song, but I don't know this song.
Which you may not hear if you don't turn on streamer mode.
Yep.
But if you do, you're in for some interesting treats. But yeah, it's a very it's not just competent. It's a very excellent beat 'em up.
Okay.
I just felt my biggest mistake with that is I bought so many combos earlier, I sort of forgot them. I'm like, I should just buy one at a time and learn it and bring it in.
Yep.
But it's really simple controls, and you build up a little crew of people, and they sort of become like call-in buddies.
Okay.
So the screen will be full of you jumping around with your guitar, doing some special move. You've called in someone firing a laser, someone else pounding the ground at the same time. All the robots are flying up in the air. It's all in time to the music. All of these actions make their own musical tones with the song that's playing. Just like, this is incredible. This is maybe my favorite character action game ever.
Does it get overwhelming with all the stuff?
No, because it's all on the beat.
Okay.
If you're going to get attacked, you're not going to get like surrounded by people and like hit when you can't do anything. They're going to come up and hit you on the beat in order. When you're going to get someone's doing up a special attack, it'll mark it all out and say, this is where you go, this is where. By the way, if you hit these 3 notes now, you're going to get a parry and you'll kick. Like, it is so clean and easy, and you just feel. The levels between are fine. Probably a little bit too much, just like empty space between fights sometimes. But that gets better as the game. It's just a game that actually continues getting better as you play it. So I would highly recommend Hi-Fi Rush. It's a banger, as they say. Yeah,
I'm definitely interested. I mean, Sunset Overdrive, which I referenced before, I completely finished in one night. I intended to sit down and play it a couple hours, but I just got so engrossed in it. And this has elements of that, from what I can see, plus things like Kingdom Hearts and stuff as well. It has the attitude to it, yeah. And the thing is, although I'm saying it's all a beat game, you don't have to be great at rhythm. Yep.
Oh,
you
that's
can
good.
you can
So
still
I'm
do an
fast.
input because it's before we started talking, Caroline. You mentioned is it like Crypto the Necrodancer,
Yes.
where you have to do everything on there.
I'm so bad at that game.
If you hit attack and you're not on the beat, you still will attack on the beat because that's how all the animation is timed. You just won't build up your special meter and stuff.
Okay.
You can still just beat stuff up, so you'll be less efficient. But especially if you turn it down in difficulty, if you're having struggle, you'll still beat everything up eventually. You'll just get a poor score at the end. And
Okay.
honestly, I'm far beyond caring about my score at the end of a fight. Yeah, and I don't think there's any currency or anything attached to it, so you won't be missing out.
Okay.
So yeah, but it's stylish. It's really fun. It's unique, and it came out of nowhere. Other than I heard one rumor of a game called this a week beforehand, but I didn't know what it was.
Yep.
And it was great. So that. Oh, that's the wrong mouse.
Yeah, sign me
That's
up.
my
I'm
review.
definitely interested.
That was a review about the game that I reviewed. It was a review. I said a good thing, then a bad thing, but mostly good things.
Game.
Okay.
Wow.
That was effective.
Something like that. This is Zed Games. I'm your host, Paul, and joining me are Peter and Caroline.
Hello.
And we are back to talk about video games, which we are all quite fans of. And we're just going to chat a little bit about some demos that we played recently, because in the last week, the Steam Next Fest was on, where they dropped a couple hundred new demos, of which we did not play all of them.
No.
No, I ran out of time.
It is, sometimes I get obsessive around these sort of things, and I end up playing a vast majority of things, but you just don't really get any real impressions because you're only going 5 minutes of this, 5 minutes of this, 5 minutes of this, I'm out of time. But yes, did you find anything worth bringing to attention, Caroline?
Yes, I played Pico, which is I'm assuming you're a cat because everyone else is a cat, and you live in a little tea shop and you make tea.
That works.
That sounds adorable.
It
I know
is.
several people that will love that.
Yeah, you pour the water and then you add sugar cubes, and you got to remember how everyone likes their tea, and it's just really cute, and I like it.
I like
There.
cat tea.
Cat tea, tea cat tea,
Tea cat.
cat tea. Da 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 da.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going around. I played through Bionic Bay, was the first one I grabbed.
Yep.
It is it's kind of like a mix between Limbo and N+. So a really, really reactive, fast, delicate platformer, but it's really moody and sort of like puzzles and stuff in it. But you're really small on screen. I was worried that I would like lose track of the character, but I thought it was really good.
Okay.
Yeah, so that one really jumped out at me. There was so many things. Like I downloaded, I don't know, a dozen Metroidvanias, and I would just
Okay.
like spend like 5-10 minutes with each one going like, does this feel all right? Does this feel all right? No,
Yep.
not you. You're good. You're not. But yeah, there were quite a few things. A demo came out for Radio the Universe, which is one of those like classic never came out Kickstarters.
Okay.
I can't remember how many years ago, but it was one of those things that's been in sort of dev hell, and it is cool as heck.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's sort of like a top-down Zelda, but it's very much combat focused. So I don't know what to relate it to. My mind is trying to not say the words Dark Souls because it's not really.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like really good, like boss fight. Big, hey, that boss is now a random enemy. Okay, this is like upgrade panels just going through. And the only thing in the demo was that felt like such a large space. I was like, I don't know where I'm going.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really stylish. Got all sort of glitch aesthetic to it, and yeah, it was nice to see that something is actually coming out and it looks really, really good. Anything else?
I played a tower full of cats.
Is there a ongoing cat theme? I'm gonna look if there's any cats in mine.
That was, I think, the only 2 cat games, but Tower Full of Cats is like a hidden object game. You got to find all the cats.
Oh, yeah. That's because that's actually out, isn't it, as well? Because it's on mobile as well.
Oh, is it?
I'm pretty sure. Maybe that's a Cats in
There's-
Time thing. It certainly was similar.
There's they have other games out in like the same series. There's like a Castle Full of Cats and a House Full of Cats.
The Of Cats universe.
Yes. Yeah, and it's like kind of like Tower of Babel with all the different eras of cat. Like in the demo, there was prehistoric cat and ancient Egyptian cat,
Yeah.
and you find all the cats and you click things, and it's really cute.
Looks adorable.
It is.
I'm thinking of Cats in Time.
Oh, completely different.
Yeah, it's a fun game too. I like Cats in Time. I'll link it to you later. You'll like it. It's got cats. You find them in time.
Oh yeah, that's my jam.
Yep. No, one game that this wasn't actually part of it, but a demo dropped just before it, so we'll count it as anyway.
Oh, yeah.
It's a Polish game called Holston, and it's sort of a classic Resident Evil style horror game, sort of tank control driving around, but it's not 3D. It's top-down 2D, so the only reference I think is not a popular game. A game called Too Dark, if anyone knows that. No.
I think I've heard of it.
It's by a French developer who made Little Big Adventure games and the original Alone in the Dark, actually, and stuff like that. But this was like, they've gone to a real length of making this pixel art that is entirely reactive to lighting. It looks like pixel art, but it moves like 3D. And you can rotate the rooms and everything, and it's just beautiful to look at. And they've released a demo. If you go to the page and look at it, it's Holston. It doesn't say demo. It says like sign up for early access or something. It's just you push that button and it gives you the demo. I was like, that's a bit weird, guys. That might be a bit confusing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really cool. It's the first of 3 demos they're going to put out because it's still in heavy development. And it's not up next, but later in the show I'm actually going to play a song from it because it was just really striking. It was like, oh, this is a nice discovery. I'm happy for that. But yes, demos, they haven't gone away. They're just all for weird indie games on PC.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a good way to get your game shown off, that's for sure.
I mean,
especially if you've got a unique mechanic or there's something interesting about your game that doesn't really translate in a trailer.
That was actually one of the things, not indie, but Midnight Suns have just released a demo only for the console version, so Xbox and PlayStation, because that game's been like a massive flop.
Yep.
But it's reviewed incredibly well, because from all reports and everyone who played it, it's really good.
Yep.
But it's like people thought, oh, it's from the XCOM devs, it'll be like XCOM. It's not at all. It's a weird superhero card-based tactical game, and people hear the word cards.
Yep.
I don't know if you're like, no. But apparently, once you're in, you sort of understand. It's not like a deck building game or anything. It's still like on a field doing powers against each other, all in 3D. But I'm like, I do want to check it out because I wasn't going to drop full price on it.
But yeah, having a demo giving you a chance to actually get
especially since it is a unique take on it.
Taste.
Yeah. That was one thing I did notice with the Next Fest. There is a lot of deck building games in there.
Yeah.
And trust me, I like cards physically. Cards in a virtual game, though,
It took me a long time to accept the abstraction in virtual form. Yeah. It was actually Hand of Fate that sold me. Yeah. Because I was like, what's the point? And I'm like, I kind of get it now. It's just like, it's like giving you a direct metaphor for the randomization.
Yeah. And I get that. I just have no interest in it. It's just like, cool, that's a game for somebody else.
Somebody else can take this.
Yep.
So you're listening to Zed Games, is that it?
You're listening to Zed Games.
You're listening to Zed Games.
Hello, you're listening to Zed Games.
You're listening to Zed Games.
You're listening to Zed Games.
You're listening to Zed Games. You're listening to Zed Games.
You're listening to Zed Games.
You're listening to Zed Games.
You're listening to Zed Games.
Perfect. Thank you.
This has been Zed Games. We're signing off. Actually, I'm going to bring up my other two because I wasn't going to because I was going to be rude, but they get to say goodbye.
No, I don't want to. No.
Yeah, that's right. So, goodbye. Tonight, going to take us out is a classic by Darren Korb. Ooh. Yep. Darren Korb, from our Supergiant friends. Classic. He is, of course, from probably the least popular Supergiant game that I love, Pyre.
Ooh,
Never to Return, The Withdrawn.
Weirdest sports game ever.
Yeah, it took a while to adapt it. All right, it's a sports game.
It's a sports game.
It's a sports game.
But it's not a sports game. But it's a sports game.
And an RPG.
Definitely not basketball simulator fantasy.
No. Anyway, thank you for listening. We'll catch you all next week. We love every single one of you.
Except you, Dave.
We're gonna catch you.
You know what you did, Dave.
Can't run away.
Thanks for listening to Zed Games.
If you'd like to listen to more, check out our podcast on Spotify.
Or follow us on social media at ZED Games AU.
See you next time.